Okay, now that we've looked at how to find the equation of a hyperbola given the foci and the focal radii, let's look at graphing the hyperbola, okay? So let's start off by looking at 2a. 2a, the equation I gave you was 9x squared minus 16y squared minus 32y plus 128 is equal to 0. So first thing we're going to do is get all the y's together, everything without a variable on the other side, and so on. So 9x squared, I'm going to take out a 16 from the y's, a negative 16 at that, so y squared plus 2y equals negative 128. And then I'm going to complete the square of the y's. So that's negative 128. 1 squared is 1 times negative 16 is minus 16. So this is negative 144. Divide everything by negative 144. We get y plus 1 squared over 9 minus x squared over 16 is equal to 1. Okay, so since y squared is positive, this is a vertical major axis. Our center is 0, negative 1. A squared is 9, b squared is 16, and c squared is the addition of the two, so that's 25. So c is 5, so our foci are 0. Oh my god, my pen is not writing tonight. 0, comma, negative 1 minus 5, and 0, comma, negative 1 plus 5. So we get 0, negative 6, and 0, 4. And then we need to graph this. So before we start graphing, let's figure out what A is, which is plus or minus 3, and B is plus or minus 4. We're going to start off by graphing our center, which is 0, negative 1. Okay. And then we're going to, since a squared, it's vertical major axis, right? A squared goes with y, so it's going to go up 3, 1, 2, 3, and down 3, 1, 2, 3. And then b belongs with the x, right? Here and here. So that means that b is going to go to the 4 to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4 to the left, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to create our box. And what's useful about this box is we're going to use it to draw our asymptotes. So our asymptote has to go through the center and the corners of the boxes. Okay. And then, since it's a vertical major axis, right, that means we're going to start on the y edges of the box there and go towards our asymptote because our branches have to be, our hyperbola has to be vertical, but our branches extend horizontally. And that's your graph. Let's look at one more. For D, okay, so for 4D, you're given x squared minus 4y squared minus 4x minus 8y minus 4 equals 0. So you get all the x's together, y's together, and the 4 on the other side. So we get x squared minus 4x minus 4y squared minus 8y is equal to 4. So x squared, so then we're going to complete this. We're going to factor out a 4 from the y, a negative 4. And then we're going to complete the square. So we get x minus 2 squared minus 4 times y plus 1 squared equals 4. Completing the square on the x's, 2 squared is 4 times the outside, which is 1, is plus 4. And 1 squared is 1 times a negative 4 on the outside is a negative 4. So we're just left with 4, right? And we're going to divide everything by 4. So we get x minus 2 squared over 4 minus y plus 1 squared over 1 equals 1. Our center, well, first off, it's a horizontal major axis, right? Because x is positive. And our center is 2, -1. A squared is 4. B squared is 1. So C squared is 5. So C is plus or minus square root of 5. So my foci are 2 plus square root 5, comma -1, and 2 minus square root 5, comma -1. A is plus or minus 2, and B is plus or minus 1. Okay, and now we graph. First thing we're going to do is graph our center, which is 2, -1. And then since A is plus or minus 2, it is underneath the x, so we have a horizontal major axis. We're going to move 2 to the right and 2 to the left. And then since B is plus or minus 1 and under y, we're going to go up 1, down 1. Draw our box. And then draw our asymptotes through the center and the corners of the box. Okay. And then since we have a horizontal major axis, we're going to start on the horizontal edges of the box and go towards the asymptotes. And there's your graph. And that's it. That's how you graph hyperbolas.